Kia ora whānau, Harnessing Human Potential. I'm joined today by Rob Mokaraka. Welcome, brother. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today.
Kia ora, brother. Good to finally meet properly. I know you were last time you were very busy hosting an event, martial art event. Just grateful to spend time, bro. Wairua to wairua.
Absolutely, brother. Yeah, I feel the same, bro. And it's a big, intention for this podcast is like connecting with people who I respect and who are doing cool things in the world and having these conversations that like we might have around the fire, you know, and just sharing that with the world.
Nice.
And I know you have a kaupapa shop, bro, mental health awareness, suicide prevention, and I know you've been doing this for a while. I know you travel the whole Aotearoa, New Zealand, sharing this mahi. Maybe we could start a bit with like, what does that involve? What is the shop, bro, kaupapa all about?
The Shop Bro Kaupapa is about let's save a life and let's look into our humanity past our insanity. It's based on my mental and spiritual breakdown in 2009 when I had a very public mental and spiritual breakdown and I was in a storm of suicidal ideation, and then I provoked the police to shoot me dead, and so I scared them so much on July 27th, I know the date, 2009, that they shot me here at close range with a Glock 9mm bullet. I was provoking them, so there was cause. I wanted to be dead. I couldn't handle all this unresolved trauma I didn't realise was coming up from my childhood. I was in a very unhealthy relationship, and I've got a lot of aroha for this wahine, and we both went well at the time. If I look in hindsight, we were two people with childhood trauma, ignoring it, denying it, and we were exploding in a very passionate relationship, Kyle. But it was very unhealthy, but we didn't know any better at that time.
I know the type.
So I was in that realm, and I didn't realise this stuff was all from childhood. So after being shot at close range in the chest, after multiple surgeries, multiple court cases, I was then urged by my whānau to get some therapy to unpack this. Now, the irony of this is that this was also connected to my family, this trauma. So childhood stuff. So over 7 years making Shop Bro, with a lot of help, brother, I get invited to help hold space for communities, with organisations like the military, prisons, construction, to help open a very safe space to share, reveal to heal, and then have a big wānanga forum afterwards that people feel safe enough after 75 minutes of my crazy spiritual, emotional washing machine of presentation to help people go, holy shit, I'm not crazy. I'm hurting, just like the brother said. And that's me, or that's my cousin, that's my wife, that's my daughter. So by acknowledging these crunchy parts that humans don't like to acknowledge, we're creating a safe space of acknowledgement and recognition. And that's all I'm doing. And then we connect people to help that night. But you can't, you know this, you can't force anyone to heal. You just provide the tools in a safe environment that people figure out later on when they want to take those tools. So that's Shop Bro with the whakapapa in a nutshell.
Wow, brother, that's powerful. We're going straight into it.
Yeah.
That's a powerful story, brother, you know, and I can see how can really ignite some things in people, even just hearing that story, bro, and being able to relate. I think a lot of us realize that in New Zealand there's a mental health epidemic, you know, and I think it's all around the world, but particularly in New Zealand, from what you're seeing, is that true? And how bad is it? And what do you think's driving the increased suicide, the depression, the anxiety, just people not feeling good about who they are, people in these low kind of mental health states? Yeah.
Wow, jeez, I wish I had a simple answer.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
brother, you know, in the Māori realm, this is mental and spiritual well-being. So there's mental and spiritual sickness. So in the Māori realm, and I'm just pinching words from Whaia Moi Milne, she is a Māori kura from Ngāti Hine, and in one of her papers she said the Western construct tried to attack mental health by going through the cerebral realm, through the mental And she goes, we have to heal the waiter of the spirit first before we can actually start dealing with our complex mind. There's so many trapdoors and security systems. So why are people taking their lives? Pressure internally, externally, mentally and emotionally and spiritually overwhelmed. And it doesn't matter what race you are, culture, how much money you've got, or how gangster you are. If you don't have these tools and let people help you, you will be swept off this cliff. So I realised that this epidemic, this pandemic, is connected to trauma. So I think from the land, from your whakapapa, from your whatever your lineage is in your family, is it your mother's side, is it your family side? There is a connection, and not many people want to look past the mirror.
Yes.
And so, you can talk about the psychology, the psychiatry. Yes, that's great. Now let's look deeper into your whānau. What happened to you as a little kid? What's happened to you throughout your family history? And then slowly you start to find these uncomfortable answers. And they're also disguised, because families like to disguise trauma and distress through different ways, like crazy auntie. Auntie Margaret. She's always drunk. She's always been a drunken.
Yes.
Well, why is she always drunk? What happened to Auntie Margaret? She's always been like that. Then you investigate more, and then you realise you're told to shut up because something happened to crazy Auntie Margaret. She's not so crazy.
That's right.
So I'm just about behaviour has a whakapapa, and let's investigate that.
Yeah.
But you have to be brave enough.
And that's one thing that I've noticed too, is I've worked with so many people who you would never know. You would never know they were struggling unless you asked certain questions, unless they felt comfortable enough to share. And then you realise what's really going on and how many people are really holding on to a lot of these things. And we've been having this kōrero in a group that I'm running at the moment. And even things like anger, I don't know why I'm angry all the time. I've got all this anger that comes up, and it's because of this person. And actually, if we get right down to it and we say, where else have you felt anger in your life? How far can we trace that back? And then we might come to a situation where you felt like you weren't seen as a kid. You felt like your voice didn't matter. You felt like you were ignored. You weren't loved. You weren't good enough. Maybe you were abused, and that created a certain belief that you have about yourself. And maybe there's an anger coming up saying, I'm angry about that. And unless we get to that root, unless we get to the root of like what's actually creating that, then we are going to point the finger at this person, and we kind of perpetuate these things. Another one is, I had this conversation with a wahine the other day, the feeling of unworthiness, the feeling of unworthiness and not speaking your truth. And when we start to see these things, I guess you're talking to the deep layers of what's under the rug here. How does that affect your life? What opportunities have you missed because of that? What timelines could you have gone down if you didn't have this thing weighing on you? And unless we look in the mirror and really look at these things openly and honestly and talk about them, I think that's a big key, is actually talking about it. It exists. We can't really change too much, brother?
You're speaking my language, brother. I'm loving all this kōrero. It's resonating. It's resonating, and these are tough conversations to have, because everyone, the way we've been conditioned through the system is it's very cerebral, and let's give you a pill to get rid of the problem or numb it so we don't have to deal with it. And so there's a production line of nothing wrong with medication in the sense that for those who need it to stay on the planet. I go, whatever bridge to need to keep you here on this earth,
yes,
until you figure it out.
Well said, bro.
Until you figure it out. But it's just a band-aid on a bullet wound, and I had a bullet wound here, bro, that's been bleeding out Aroha lately, but it was bleeding out lots of hurt.
Yes.
And so I love the way that you're looking at it, because I absolutely agree. And it's having people like yourself, and we've met so many amazing people that have influenced the way that we've looked at trauma, hurt, well-being. There's so many pathways to unpack it and what feels safe for you. So,
yes,
we give people tools. Like some people listen to me and go, I don't agree to anything Rob says, but I love everything that Kyle says. And that's great. Choose the one that you resonate with. I always say I'm one of many trying to illuminate suicide with aroha and hope. I'm not the be-all and end-all.
I love it, bro. I love it. And when we speak about offering tools to people, you know, and I think this is a big part of it as well, is, you know, not trying to, you know, it's not like the healing is not going to happen in one session. I'm not going to give you the answers to everything, but I can give you the tools to stay on this planet, get on the right path, move in a beneficial direction, move forward, not constantly spiraling downward, you know. What are some of these tools that you promote? What are some of the tools that you know work for people that are struggling?
I'm living them, bro. Because I used to sometimes preach them, and when I realised, someone pointed out, you're not living them.
Yeah.
So I live them now. And the first one is practice being kind to yourself in the silence. Because we're the first ones. I call it the taniwha. Some people call it the inner critic. So my friend said he's got an inner pack of bastards that always yelling negative shit to him, and I was like, wow, okay, whatever you want to call it, it's like, it's all the hurt and all the negativity that's happened to you from a young age, and it's become a part of your landscape. And so I suppose for me, the first one is, you're not crazy, you're hurting, and then from once you realise that, practice being kind to yourself in the silence.
Yeah.
Because we can be smiley and happy in the life of the party, as I was, but deep down, just didn't want anyone to see the real me that I was hating and self-loathing. So it's
a big thing that comes up there, as you say that, is we don't have to trust our own thoughts. You know, if that negative self-talk is coming up, or their negative story is coming up, that's not necessarily true. In fact, it's probably not true. It's just a story in your head, and you don't have to entertain that.
Bro, just on that, my friend, she calls her negative thoughts Donald Trump, because it keeps telling her fake news.
Fake news.
But she realizes it's fake news. And I try and put humour into, like, if I'm helping some people, I say, so you've got a negative Spotify playlist. I'm shit, no one loves me, I shouldn't even be alive. And they went, yeah. And I went, how boring, eh? Isn't that playlist boring? And they're like, yeah. I said, well, you're in charge of the playlist.
Yes.
Why don't you change that Spotify playlist? It's so boring, because it's taxing and draining you every day. So, and that takes time. You know, any new tools that we can have on a healing tool belt, when you're starting this journey, it's like, I'm clumsy with this new tool. Yes. This doesn't work. It doesn't work, or you don't know how to use it yet.
Yeah.
So it's like arming ourselves day by day with a new tool on our tool belt and figuring out how it works for us.
Yeah, I love it, bro. I love it. And that's such a good point. What are some of the other tools as well? You know, I just want to open that space if there's stuff that's sticking out for you.
The first one is that self-care is a big one.
Yep.
Don't be a people pleaser. And I've got to watch out. Sometimes I have those traits, but also I've realised I'm okay with saying no. And when people go, you must be used to hanging out with so many people, Rob, when I don't have to for work, for what I do, which is not work, it's my passion,
yes.
I isolate.
I resonate with that, yeah.
The less humans, the better.
Yeah.
and I go, I've got places to refuel, spiritual places, which is where Lake Waikaremoana, where my mum is from. That's one of the places I go. There's no Wi-Fi signal sometimes. And when I get better and refuel myself, then I slowly start interacting with my own whānau or my own friends. But I'm making sure that I'm taking care of me, because if I'm getting shitty at people, I realise, oh, you're not well. You're tired. You're fatigued. And you realise that people don't know that they're projecting their frustration and their anger at themselves on others, because they're not taking care of themselves. Yes. And they're blaming you for not taking care of them when they're not doing it themselves. So that's a big one, brother. And finding places like rivers, oceans. I do karakia. I cleanse myself most mornings. If it's really heavy, I'll do one in the morning and then one in the evening. If it's really, I'm just doing karakia.
Yep.
Jiu-jitsu, I've taken up the last 2.5 years. It's really helped. That physicality has brought me into the present.
Beautiful.
So it makes me physically, mentally, spiritually present, as well as injured. But hey, that's just a minor side effect. But brother, anything to make me feel present and not so alone. And I've got a type 3. I've discussed this previously with you. 3 people, 3 kaitiaki that I've nominated, I trust with my life, that I've asked personally. It's okay if they say, bro, I don't want to be on your dialing list because it's too much. Yeah. I used to get offended. And I realised, the bro just doesn't have the skills. So why do I have 3 people on my dialing list? Because it's too much for one person to hold.
Yes.
And now I teach others to have your own. Who are your 3 people on your dialing list? Number 1 for me is my cousin Clint Edmonds. who comes on the road with me. He's the cousin I trust with my life. I've got 2 others, and up to 5 now, but it's taken a long time to get the people I trust.
Yes.
And guess what? They realise that Mr. Rob, who likes to talk about your feelings and emotions, if you're not good, when Rob goes quiet, they start reaching in. So I've got a circle of friends now that reach in when I'm not good, or I've gone too quiet. So I'm always trying to find that balance, brother. So I'm building these frameworks to help myself, not sort of just lean on it. We've got to build it and refresh those mechanisms. What does that? That framework's old now. Doesn't work because this thing is too clever. I found a way around it.
Yeah.
So I'm just throwing those at the moment that are coming up.
That's beautiful, brother. I love all of those, you know, and I love this this idea that we don't have to always be around other people, you know. It's so important that we connect with others, that we come together. But what I've noticed even for myself is I really appreciate the time by myself. I need that recharge space. There's nothing wrong with you if you want to go and be alone for a whole day and turn your phone off, put it on flight mode, go for a walk in the forest. That might be exactly what you need. We need that time to rest and recharge. Also, the coming into the body, whether it's martial arts or training or running or something like you said, if you want to be in the present moment, you start with the breath, you start with your body. You know, we can start with our breath, we can start with our body. That's a beautiful thing. Your body's always in the present moment. You know, come in here. I'm a huge martial artist and martial arts fan as well. I think that can really help people, the whole philosophy around it. And I want to just go a little bit deeper on this big 3 thing because I find it fascinating. This idea of like, who are your 3 kaitiaki? Who are those people that have got your back and you know they've got your back? And it might be a bit of a tricky question, but what if you're giving somebody that advice and they don't have 3 people? Maybe they're having trouble really saying that one person they've got really has their back, you know? What is the kōrero after that?
With aroha, bro, this is how I've said it. Sounds like your circle is shit. You might have to reevaluate who your real mates are. Because sometimes we think that circle is healthy for us, but that circle is keeping us sick, mentally and spiritually. But that's what we know, because we want to be a part of something. We, as humans, want to feel part of a group. And sometimes we want to be a part of it so badly that we are making ourselves sick, mentally and spiritually, and physically by being in that circle. Now, when someone doesn't have, they say to me, bro, I don't have anyone in my circle, here's my number. And now they've got my phone number.
Beautiful,
if they
bro.
choose it.
Beautiful.
And then I annoy the shit out of them with my positive to every, because some people have a negative problem to every solution that you give. And that can be quite draining.
Yes.
But once they get sick of me, sometimes they're, I've had enough now, but I'm all good. Meaning, I'm sick of you coming with positive reactions to my negative behaviours. But at least I've given them a tester of like, this is what it's like to be in a friendship when someone's looking out for you.
Yeah.
And they're like, why, how are you mentally? How are you spiritually? How's your physicality? So right now, through jiu-jitsu, I've got to like saw back that my physio, who actually I trained with, so I think maybe he became a physio so he could join our club and get all the clients. But maybe that's not true.
Good strategy.
But he helps put us back together. And it's understanding like that's the physical problem. And I also look, what's emotionally that I'm holding on to?
Yes.
So I'm asking myself this question. Yes, that's physical from jiu-jitsu. But what is it emotionally that I might be holding on to that I'm not letting go of, that my back is telling me? So these little layers that I'm investigating all the time. So that comes to the whare tapawha, your mental, spiritual, physical well-being, as well as your family's well-being. And if I add the 5th one, there's whare tapawha, but if you add the 5th one, which is tāiao, environment, is your environment making you sick? Are you sick, or is your environment making you sick? In my case, when I was in entertainment and arts, I didn't realise that I was sick and the environment was making me sick.
Interesting.
And so I left that realm.
Yep.
And I've got mates very successful in that realm, but I don't like it in a sense that it makes me, it comes back to the vibration of an unhealthy environment for me personally, not for them. So understanding what makes you feel sick and what's perpetuating it, so you can come up with a solution to separate from that environment.
Yes. It's the awareness first, right?
Awareness.
The awareness first. I do a similar thing. It's a 6-dimension check-in with people.
Oh, kōrero.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Yeah. So it's, your mind, your body, your emotions, your spirit, your spiritual, which is basically a sense of connection. How connected are you feeling? Whatever that means for you. And then finances, because it's important,
Yes.
and it's very related to our stress and our sense of survival,
Yes.
and relationships. And then we go, and then I say, I want you to give it a number out of 10 for all of those this week. How have you been feeling this week? Give it a number out of 10. And if any of them are under 7, then we have to ask why. You know, we have to ask why. And I do this with, and again, you wouldn't think. People, you think they're happy, they're vibrant, and then we do this. And you know, some of my clients that I have all these things we're about to go into, we're about to do a training plan for them, we're about to do a diet plan, and then I see mental, emotional, 2 and 3. And I go, actually, we need to pause, we need to have a kōrero. Because now I've seen that you're really not okay right now.
Yes.
You know, and then there's actually something on top here that's more important than the workout plan. That's more important than getting the diet right, you know. And so this is that real, true, holistic approach, meeting somebody where they are.
Right there. Right there. I was helping 2 guys. One's, just say they're best friends. And one guy said, I'm really worried about my bro, man. He's gone right under, like he's drinking more. He's not going to work, and blah, I'm not worried about it. Can you meet him? I said, I'm only happy to meet him if he's happy to meet me. Because if you bring me unannounced, he'll tell me to get the F out of here. And he goes, oh yeah, I spoke to him, man, he's all good. I meet him and I see his friend caring for him, and he goes, bro, you got to get to work, 9 a.m. tomorrow. You got to get the food on the table. You got to do this. I know you split up with your missus. You got to get... And I stopped. He's still talking. I look at this bro and I go, you want to kill yourself, eh, brother? And his brain went,
Wow.
yeah, I do. And I said, yeah, so stop on that talk over there, bro.
Wow,
He's coming with the practicals, like,
Yeah.
you got to get to his life. This fella doesn't want to be alive now. How do I see that? I'm seeing a version of me in 2009 right in front of me. And the bro just looks at me with wide-eyed, goes, nods, and went, yeah.
Wow.
I was like, okay, let's start from here.
Beautiful, man.
Right here.
That's
And let's
powerful.
start from here. And his bro was like, oh, fine. And that's okay. It's just that's... we've all got different layers of awareness, right? The love, the only reason that I'm invited in that circle because this bro cares about it.
Yes.
And,
Yeah, that's right.
they're arguing about his mates. No, you don't tell me what to do. I'm not telling you what. I was like, hey, the main thing is here, this brother loves you. That's why I'm here. And so meeting them right there, and we'll work it out from there. Because work might not come tomorrow morning. This person was going to take his life.
Yeah.
And I could see it. And so looking straight into their soul, through their eyes, you go, be brave enough to go, oh shit, bro, you going there? Yeah, I am. Okay. What do we need right now? Let's work it out together.
That's powerful, brother. And, you know, it brings up another question for me, and we have kind of touched on this. But let's say somebody comes to you. Let's say it's one of your friends that comes to you and says, hey, bro, like, I'm not okay. I'm having suicidal thoughts, something along those lines. For that person, what is the advice? What are some of the steps? What are some of the initial things that come up for you?
Bro, this is just another day at my office. First of all, I say this to the bro. I love you, bro. You're my good friend. Thank you for calling me. And I also, 9 times out of 10, they've been there for me way back in the day when I didn't have any tools. And I will bring them back to something good that they've done for me. Because when you're the person suffering, you think no one loves you. You're a piece of shit. And you think that it comes into the pain. I call the pain Olympics, where you think that your pain is so great no one is ever going to understand. And then you get somebody with a bronze medal going, my pain's not valid because that person's really in pain. And so no one is addressing it or letting help. And so I let the brother know, first of all, bro, I love you. And I want to walk alongside you until we find out what you need. Now, what I find with men in particular, they could be married, they could have the house, they could have the boat, or divorced, doesn't matter. Men in particular are not used to feeling that vulnerable.
Yes.
And so I say to the bros, I'm going to walk alongside you until we find the right people for you, brother. And be kind to yourself, because this new person that you're trying to become, you've never been before, nor have you seen him. And so it's like demystifying these emotional overwhelms that's happening for the brother.
Yes.
Because they go, fuck, I'm useless. I'm now useless to society. I'm useless to my missus. The kids is going to hate me because I can't provide. It's like, let's stabilise and get you some help right away.
Yeah, I love that, bro.
So, there's a lot of self-worth that's involved in that. So I just want to go back to the beginning, before I forget, of our conversation where you said, Rob, why are people hurting? Why are they taking their life? They're also exhausted from pretending to be someone they think they have to be.
Boom.
And that was me also.
Yep.
So
we're in that mask game.
we're in that mask daily, and also feeling that it's not safe in the family environment or the friends environment for whatever reason. Maybe it might be real or imagined that they don't hear anyone speak like that, right? Well, then no one's talking about it, so I guess I'll just bottle it up too and I'll play the game. By the way, they don't realise that everyone's thinking the same shit but not articulating it. That's why I say you're not crazy, brother. You're hurting.
That's beautiful, bro. And, it brings up something for me. Like, when I know somebody is spiritually inclined, there's a beautiful conversation happening around what's happening on earth right now, and we could call it a raising consciousness. We could call it a collective collapse. Things are speeding up. There's a quickening happening on the planet right now. You don't have to look too far to see what's going on. Things are getting crazy. But there's also a lot of amazing things happening. And there's also, let's just call it a raise in vibration. And if there's something in you, if there's a force here that's trying to expand you, if your spirit, which really just wants to expand boundlessly, like a child, you see that in a child, right? Child just wants to explore and expand. Yeah. And then somewhere along the way, we get pushed into these little boxes and we kind of get, and if that force is there trying to help you expand, it has to push all the rubbish out. It has to push all the toxicity out. And so these things have to come to the surface. And so wherever you're feeling pain and wherever you're feeling challenge, this is an opportunity to go higher. It's actually telling you higher is possible. The new you is on the other side of this. So then you can start going, I'm feeling pain, I'm feeling challenge. Welcome it. What can I learn? Because if I get through this, that means I get to the newer version of myself. More me, more authentic, more expanded, more aligned, more love, more clear seeing. If I lean into it, And I think this is a good kōrero, because every time I say this to someone, they nod their head and they go, I know what you mean. And I believe that. A lot of people believe there's something here, but we don't feel the connection of it, and we don't feel the truth of it. But I think that's a fundamental key for a lot of people, because we're all going to experience pain and challenge in this life. That's the human experience. No one gets out of here without that.
No, and it's part of growth.
Yes.
We through grief we learn to grow and expand. And I've been nodding ever since you, bro. I can't help. I'm just nodding. I feel like, oh shit, I just can't stop nodding.
Me too,
because I absolutely resonate with all of that, and I know that to be a truth, and I see it a lot. And having safe spaces, you know this, you definitely know this. Men are looking for permission from other brothers to heal.
Yes.
They needing permission to be tough, to be funny, to be vulnerable. They're needing permission, but no one's saying it. And so once you know this, when we open up these spaces in a safe way, in a firm way, but a very light way, that's something that they've never felt before. Yes. And remember, we've never felt that before in the past. We've had to learn this, right?
Oh yeah.
And we're still learning it. But the main thing is we're conscious of it, we're practicing it, and we know that we still have to keep learning.
And it's fire trials too, I've been through hard fire trials to get to where I am now. And it's worth it, and that's the kōrero too, like it's worth it to do the work, and we've been through there, we've come out the other side, now we can help to guide people to do the same, and it's beautiful, mahi, I think I can see that in you love what you do. I love what I do, I love to help people. I wouldn't mind going back a little bit too, bro, and actually going into your journey, because you started this by talking about your story, and that's a powerful story, brother. I wonder if you could go a little bit back into like what got you there. Like, I know you spoke into it a little bit, but maybe speaking into it a little bit deeper, like how did it get that bad for you?
Well, I didn't realise, brother. So in 2009, when I provoked the police and I got shot, I didn't realise that. When I said before, I mentioned behaviour has a whakapapa, so there's a lineage. I didn't realise that this stuff is related to my childhood. Yeah. So, and I'm just going to be very clear, I love my whānau and I love my family. Who they were and who they are now are very different. And so when we're growing up as kids, this is what we thought was normal, that we'd have family gatherings, and when there was alcohol, there'd be sporadic violence. Like, we'd see bloodshed, brother. We'd see blood flying around, family fighting family. We're like, whoa, and there's alcohol, so it's gone from a happy environment from zero of no violence to 10 violence, high level. And so when you grow up in that environment, you don't realise that as a kid you're always on edge to figure out, is this family gathering going to be a nice one or a bad one? Oh, they're drinking again. Oh, they're laughing. There's so much laughter. The music's playing. It's so beautiful. And then bam, 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 screaming, yelling. And you're like, and then when I'm little, I was explaining this to another brother recently over a coffee. And and then I go to someone else's home and I see their mum and dad arguing. And I think, oh no, you should be quiet. You're going to get hit. And no one gets hit. And I'm like, that's strange. Why is no one getting hit? I'm used to seeing aunties get hit by uncles hitting aunties. You know, at one stage, and I love my dad. Well, my dad didn't have tools. My dad is an ex-Vietnam veteran, and experienced some deep trauma. And I remember Dad hitting my mum.
Yeah.
And my dad is a very different human being. He's the most loving human being that you ever met. But the dad that, at that time, that human, he didn't have any trauma assistance from the military who traumatized him.
Yeah.
So I love Dad, and I realised that was an evolution. So I suppose what I'm also adding is in an environment, and family, friends, not just our family, there was sexual violence happening. And I thought I was one of one hurt as a little boy with sexual trauma, being molested. And I didn't realise later on, once I got some therapy, that there was a handful of us around the same age.
Yeah.
And sometimes not direct from whānau, say whānau friends.
Yeah.
In that circle. So once I started getting therapy, this misty, foggy jigsaw puzzle of anger, fear, rage, confusion starts to become a bit clearer. Because now I'm clearing the fog, and now I've got assistance, somebody I trust alongside me who's not related, sort of helping me unpack it, and me still scared, and I'm a grown man. So that was the environment. So being a little hurt, so I say this to men and women: be the hero your younger self needed.
Yeah.
And once you find that, you realise that your hurt little self didn't have anyone to protect you at that time. Now you can be the protector, not with violence, but with strength.
Yes. There's such a big difference between violence and strength. Yeah. And that inner strength, cultivating that inner strength is powerful. And thank you, bro. Thank you for being vulnerable. I know it's what you do, but it's a beautiful kōrero, you know, because it speaks to the intergenerational trauma that we have in this country. You know, it's huge, you know, and I experienced similar stuff too growing up, and it helps us understand others. Yes,
and once again, as I speak this, all of this has happened, and I still feel a little voice come up as we're talking. Oh shit! I hope my family's okay with this.
Yeah,
but there's still a voice right at the back, right back here, and I love my family because that's not who they are now.
Yeah,
and so what I'm trying to say is, people can change when they're willing to.
Yep.
You know, no matter what background you come from.
Man, and that's it. You know, I think about those type of upbringings, and I think of the nervous system, and I think of fear, because I know for me it was fear.
Yeah.
You know, there's multiple patterns that come in. I'm not good enough, or you know, we develop all these subconscious patterns and these unconscious beliefs. But definitely, if there's fear in the childhood, we have to honour the nervous system, and we have to honour there's a fight or flight response. You know, I remember if I saw anybody arguing, I thought somebody's going to get hit.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't safe for me.
Yeah.
If I hear somebody arguing, I start getting really nervous, and it's just an argument. Nothing actually happens. And so, like, I'm big on a holistic approach to healing, because I feel like we do need to honour the body, the tinana, the nervous system. You know, so are you eating the right food? Are you going to start to, you know, for you and your family, especially parents and things like that, start learning how to eat nutrient-dense food and hydrate yourself, and also do that for your kids, you know, and then learning how to move your body, learning how to rest. And I think for men as well, the other fourth pillar is actually having a clear dream, goal or objective, knowing what you're doing with your creative ability, knowing where you're going. But I think for men, a lot of the time, we understand there needs to be a certain discipline, to take up a disciplined path, to do the things every day that keep us well, and to stay on the right path. It takes discipline, right?
Yes.
We can't get away from discipline in this life.
No.
But also, I think the thing we miss is the rest. I have to constantly remind myself about that. Yes, discipline, but maybe the discipline is just getting to bed on time. Maybe the discipline is carving out an hour so you can just lie down.
Yes.
Because you're tired, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to offer that too. I think a holistic approach is so key because I see people stuck, and I work with a lot of parents, you know, and it's not about getting yourself into goals, especially if you have young children. That should be your goal. Your goal should be creating a beautiful, healthy environment at home for you and your family.
Absolutely, and the kids are our biggest teachers, bro. I've got two daughters.
Beautiful.
And bro, they will tell me what time it is, and which I'm really grateful for. And they know they've both seen what I do, and they love me for all my flaws because I'm very open about my flaws. And my eldest, who saw Shot Bro last year, first time ever, she went something along the lines of, "I'm sorry, I didn't have enough tools, Dad." And so I say to people, our children, our tamariki, are spiritually and emotionally intelligent. It's just when grief or trauma happens and we don't have a safe place to process that, it becomes overly complicated as we get older.
Yes.
So I'm getting a lot of wisdom from my two daughters, and I'm grateful that I'm friends. I'm very upfront. 2 daughters, 2 baby mamas, and I'm great friends with them both.
Beautiful.
And what they get to see is like, yes, their dad's not perfect, but dad's open about learning, and dad is loving and respectful to my mum. And they're not together. So by being, you know, we don't just have to tell. You have to show it.
Absolutely, bro. Yeah, you show up, you embody it. That's beautiful. And you know, what are some of the other things that you're seeing that are positive? You know, because there's so many things that are hard in this world, and there is a lot of work to be done. We are in a mental health epidemic. I've been having these conversations about the digital age, about phones, what it's doing to our attentional systems, what it's doing to the teenagers of the world, addicted to these things, our dopamine systems out of whack, fractured attentional systems, you know, propaganda from all angles. Where's the hope for you? Like, what are you seeing that's the glimmer of light in society? Like, what are you seeing that's a positive thing that's happening?
I know. You're one of them. And our sister Elise,
yes.
She's another one of them.
She is.
So I just meet, you know, you don't need a degree or you don't need system and protocols to show aroha, compassion, kindness. You're like, where's a good person in the world? Why don't you be one?
Yes.
Hey, I know, let's freak yourself out. Why don't you be a good person? Because I can't find anyone here and society sucks and this sucks. And it's like, how about you be the change? And I said this to an elderly farmer. We're in a hot pool together, and he asked me what I did, and I said suicide prevention, and he came up with a very negative tone. And how's that shit going for you? And I was like, I said, it's hard, but it's good when you're honest about what's going on. And he goes, well, how do you reckon we should help these young pricks? And I was like, why don't you be the change? And it went silent. I went silent, and it kind of looked like to me he wanted to give me a slap around the face or a punch in the head, because meaning you have to look inside yourself there, sir.
Yeah.
Everyone's a shithead.
Yeah.
But what are you doing to be the change? So I think that what we're doing, and you know, we're not going around saying we're the be all and end all.
That's it.
But when we meet other people like ourselves, I've been so humbled and privileged to meet people who have been through the depths of tragedy, losing their child to suicide, losing their partners to suicide, and meeting them and seeing that they've built hope and pathways, and I can be better too.
Yeah.
And I look at them and go, wow, thank you. Just by being you, I'm learning how to step up for myself.
Yeah. And even these conversations, right? People hear these conversations and it does something to them. It makes them have that feeling like, okay, I can be better. I'm motivated now. There's an energy in me from just hearing this stuff, because we can all relate with it. We can all relate with these conversations. Sometimes I love to finish with this question. Big question. If you could speak to the whole world for 30 seconds, what would be your intuitive message right now?
The world doesn't want to be saved. It wants to be loved. And there's a whakatauki. How do I change the world? One room at a time. Which room do I start at? The one that you're in. And that's where we'll go from.
Massive, brother. That was beautiful.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for doing all this work that you're doing for so many brothers. I see you from a distance, and I just feel relief when I see brothers and sisters like yourself doing this work, because it helps me have a relax as well.
Tautoko, bro. I see you doing the work, and I go, it's not just me.
Yeah, so
Hey, it's not just me.
No.
There's people like us that care,
yeah,
and we have the inner strength and the drive and the willingness to do the work, you know, and it's inspiring.
it's not easy either,
No,
but it is inspiring, and that's why we look after ourselves.
100%, brother. Where can people find you? What are some of the things that people can do to find out more about your work and stuff?
I've got a website which is shopbro.co.nz. You can find that. You can through there you can contact me. I'm on social media, shopbro_Rob Mokaraka, TikTok at shopbro_Aotearoa, and just Rob Mokaraka. People, you'll find a way. And the main thing is, brother, I feel is like, can we keep practicing being kind to ourselves when we got this little voice that says we're shit? Guess what? We're not.
Blessing to sit down with you, brother. Thank you. We'll do it again sometime.
Thank you, bro.